Bone grafting and bone graft substitute is one of the important topic for postgraduate student, but for undergraduate student we just know the concept where the bone graft used to take, and what are the types of bone graft, and how we use the bone graft, and how we manage any type of defect when we have not enough sources or resources of bone graft. Okay, now before going in details I want to clarify some basic concept of transplantation. There are four type of transplantation. One is autograft, one is isograft, and allograft, and last is xenograft. Just discuss it one by one. For autograft, that graft will taking from that same individual, and that will be recycled to this patient itself. This is called autograft, like iliac crest graft. We will take this graft from iliac crest, we will put it here for defect of the bone. Okay. Now allograft, after death of this patient or after any type of injury, like there will be amputation or any type of brain death type death, where within 6 hours we can take this bone of this cadaver and or this brain death patient, and we sterilize it, and it will be processed in the bone bank, and after sterilization and bone bank and in procedure, it can be replace any bone defect of that patient, maybe due to any tumors processes or any big fracture or any type of big defect. We have to need human bone, then that human bone can be used on that living patient. That is called allografting. Okay, and this allografting is not only taken from cadaver. There is a concept is called living donor. Living donor means, suppose we are going to do hip replacement, or we are going to do knee replacement. This is the two most common operation done in orthopedic surgeon nowadays. For at least 80 to 100 replacement is done in a normal day in a metro city. So we can get huge amount of femoral head, or you can get huge amount of bone cuts from the distal femur and proximal tibia. If we can save that special bone stock by a special maneuver, and we process it in the bone bank, we can reuse it as a living allograft. Okay, so you can understand the allograft. Now if this autograph is taking from a same patient, like not patient, it's called identical twins. Suppose for bone transfer there will be no needed of HLA, but because when it process in the lab, the all antigenicity will lost due to the gamma sterilization or lipolization. But for any organ donation like kidney, and then it will need some HLA matching. Now if uh, it comes from his identical twins, the or HLA match patient, this is called isograft. Okay, this isograft is most commonly used for the kidney and other thing. Now uh, sometimes we need a tissue graft that can be processed from a another species, like research monkey. If we take or bovine, if we take this graft from this another species, that is called xenograft. Okay, I think your concept is now clear. Now essential property or bone grafting, it has must express osteogenesis, osteoinduction, osteoconduction. Osteogenesis means it has ability of synthesis of new bone from cell derived from the graft and the host. And osteoinduction means stimulate of the of synthesis of this bone, or it will help by a growth factor responsible like bone morphogenic protein. Osteoinduction is specially helped by bone morphogenic protein. And osteoconduction, it will helps as a professional scaffold for creeping substance or formation of new bones. Okay, so these three is important feature of bone graft which helps for regenerating or helps for growth or healing of a defective part. Now, use of bone graft to fill the cavity or defect resulting from any bone cyst, any tumor, or any injury. Or you need a huge amount of cancellous bone graft for arthrodesis. Arthrodesis means fusion of a joint, of the joint, or a bridging a major defect established for a continuity of long bone, or it provide bone blocks to limit the joint motion. It is another type of arthrodesis. Suppose if we do whole destruction of the articular surface, that is called normal arthrodesis. But if we just put a bone block over a joint, that can cause partial arthrodesis. It used to done in ankle and also spine. Now, to establish union in the pseudoarthrosis, in our previous lecture we have discussed about this pseudoarthrosis, and we will dissect this the bone, and we will put this bone graft in for achieving union, and promote union or fill the defect in delayed non-union, malunion, fresh fracture. Even after osteotomy, it acts as a void filler and also acts as a promoter for union. Okay, so just mark up the whole list. Now, there is special and most common bone grafting is autogenous bone grafting. What are the types of autogenous bone grafting? Is cancellous, means it has a normal porosity, spongy bone, and cortical bone also used as a bone graft. Cortical bones means uh, tough bone. Then it can be used as a free vascular transfer, means which part of the bone has been transferred, that must be contain vessels. If we do anastomosis of the vessel, then this bone along with this periosteum will help for regenerating, because it has its own blood supply. Okay, sometimes we can use muscle pedicle bone graft. What do you mean by muscle pedicle bone graft? That means suppose this bone has a muscle acting over this, that, and this muscle along with a its normal blood supply, which will help to keep the blood supply of this area of the skin deep fossa, is called flap, good flap. Along with it will supply the bone. So to do reconstruction of a part or a limb of a or a defect, you have to reconstruct the bone, you have to reconstruct the muscle, you have to reconstruct the skin defect and the fascial defect. So all are has been replaced by this muscle this called pedicle bone graft. Okay, this is the most common replacement done by plastic surgeon or microvascular surgeon. And sometimes we just need bone morphogenic protein or osteoinduction. We can give bone marrow aspiration, that's all. So just for our orthopedic surgeon, they are not so much generally skillful to do this microvascular operation, or microvascular training is not so easy. So they used to do or we used to do cancellous bone graft or cortical bone graft, or we can do bone marrow aspiration. but this vascularized bone graft or muscle builder bone graft need microvascular expertization. Now another bone graft can be take now bone graft from where we can take. One is from ribs, it can helps for spongy bone. We can take the fibula, which helps as a cortical support or struck graft, or iliac crest. This iliac crest is special variety is called tricortical graft. What does it means? If we cut the iliac bone, it has inner cortex, the outer cortex. Now in between this cortex there is a cancellous bone. So this is one cortex, this is one cortex, this is the wall, this is the two wall, and this is the roof. So it's called tricortical, and in between there will be cancellous bone. So this is the most effective bone graft. Why? It has all the variety. First is cancellous part is there, and this bone marrow space, I mean bone morphogenic protein is there, and it also act as a scaffold also. So osteo conduction property is also there, and it also give a structural stability due to cortex. So this is the ideal bone graft which is taken from the iliac bone, and God has gifted this bone, or is called innominate bone, with a huge bone stock over the posterior cortex and the middle of the cortex. We should not take graft from the anterior superior spine, because it can cause hampering of the inguinal ligament and cause muscle hernia. But for any tumor purpose, we can just excise just above the acetabulum whole iliac crest also, without doing any reconstruction. But for sacroiliac joint, if have to stable, we can use all this bone graft except the sacroiliac joint, and expect the roof of the acetabulum. But generally we used to take the posterior just above the bone, above the posterior superior spine, and in between the 5 centimeter posterior from this area. I will discuss this later. And another type of bone grafting used to take where we can get huge amount of morcellized bone graft. Suppose one patient need masculate technique. We have already discussed it before. Or we need a huge cancellous bone graft for reconstruction and a cavity. It will not give structural support, it will give osteoinduction property, and it will give osteogenesis property. So morcellized bone graft means very small part of bone graft, and high it full of bone morphogenic protein. How we can get? We can put one guide wire through this GT, or Geta trochanter of the femur. We will put this guide wire up to the distal part of the femur. Now we will put a reamer through this guide wire, and that reamer will have a three-way cannula. One is this is the NS, it will flow, and one is for suction, and this suction will draw the reaming material along with the blood, and after that this way has been filtered by a filter. This is the storage box, and we can get huge amount of cancellous bone, because we can transfer this guide wire this area, this area, this area. So distal part of the femur and proximal part of this Geta trochanter is supplied from huge cancellous bone, and if we just do a one small hole over this, there will be no harm, and patient can bear weight after the operation immediately, but we can get the bone graft. So this is called reaming, irrigation, aspiration. One of the most common side effect is hypotension, because during this huge flow of NS, and you are taking out the all the reaming material, then patient can go in hypotension. So anesthesia will take care of that part. And one thing you have to know, normal reaming in the set for any fracture operation or during the nailing, that rem- that the reaming is some extent blunt, because it cannot perforate this cortex. Okay, it will just take out the cancellous bone, that's all. So reaming, irrigation, aspiration is the newest development of taking moisturized bone graft without with a very minimum invasive technique. Now most commonly used is iliac case graft. For iliac case graft, just beware of the injury of the posterior spine and sacroiliac joint and anterosubiliac spine, and do not go more than the roof of the acetabulum. It can cause acetabulum injury. And there is a technique called Wolf Kawamoto technique, putting two moff from one is inner aspect, one is outer aspect, and we can do a self procedure, or we can do this type of V-shaped incision, or we can take the whole tricortical graft as you want to take, and it's called custom made needed. You can take this graft. Okay. Now the use of vascularized fibula, it can be asked as a question. For vascularized fibula, it will use in and for any bone tumor defect over this fibular over this radial sorry femoral neck, and any avascular necrosis of the hip, and also it helps for defect of the fibrous dysplasia, because it will anastomose with the lateral femoral sacrum artery. This peroneal artery will anastomose is with lateral femoral artery and to vascularize this area, and the normal regeneration of the proximal femur along with the joint is very helpful, and but it needs mm, microvascular expertization. Now another special technique is called Kapana technique. Kapana technique means suppose we are dealing with a huge diaphyseal gap. Now suppose this is a tumor, this is the wide margin section, and for this bridging the defect, if we will put a dead bone that may be failed, or may the union may be hampered, we can put a allograft along with sandwich by a vascularized fibula that make a hole over this allograft, and we will put this vascularized fibula with this pedicle and do the anastomosis over there, and when we can just fix it with KOR, and it will help for huge union and robust union. So this is also called Kapana technique. And one operation is called commando operation, is related to any tumor of the mandible. For this you have to do the resection of the whole mandible, that can be reconstructed by muscle pedicle fibular graft by a plating, and patient can revert back with this type of face. Now regarding the allograft, I already told you this is the cadaveric bone, we can take it, and this is the living donor, femoral head or distal part of the femur and proximal tibia during that tibia. This is called living donor. Now all these allograft has been properly washed, processed, and taken from a seronegative patient with a sterile feed, and it will again process in the bone bank, and by two methods is called frozen or frozen diet, lyophilized or frozen diet. What do we mean frozen diet bone graft? It will decrease the expression of the MCH1 complex in the osteoblast. It will decrease the osteoinductive property, and it will reduce the mechanical integrity. It will decrease the number of viable cells, slow the revascularization, and delay the remodeling. And histologically, mononuclear cell surrounding this bone will newly develop blood vessel. Now helps for develop the blood vessel. Now whatever we have told for this frozen freeze dried bone graft, all are negative points. See, but only for doing this um, uh, freeze diet, what we can get is low immunogenicity. That is very important because it no need of any HLM matching, no need of any special processing or big test. We can use this human bone to any human. And another thing, the incorporation of this bone is well tolerated because of low immunogenicity. But one problem is the chance of union of this allograft is very difficult, and the chance of fracture over the allograft is also a complication, and the chance of infection in the allograft is also a complication. But this is the best thing if we can do in a proper manner, and among them this living donor is the um, uh, um, is the marvelous approach for a bone banking and supply and reuse this bone as a allograft. Okay. Now, along with this, we can use demineralized bone matrix. This is actually bone graft substitute. When we are not able to get any bone graft, suppose one patient will not allow to take any bone graft from his iliac crest. You cannot counseling. You cannot do proper counseling, or patient is a patient don't allow any incision over this other area, or sometimes when we are taking graft from the fibula or you are taking graft from the iliac case, there must be some complication. This is called donor site morbidity. Donor site morbidity is special type of minus point or backlog for taking the graft. It can cause hematoma, it can cause infection, it can cause urinary retention, it can cause hernia, it can cause um, visceral injury, it can cause huge bleeding, it can cause deep abscess, infection. Along with, for fibula, it can cause nerve damage, hood drop, and so on. So to avoid this, we can substitute our bone graft. So that is by demineralized bone matrix. It is prepared from cadaveric human bone. Acid extraction of the bone will leaving the collagen and non-collagenous protein and bone growth factor. Now, after gamma radiation sterilization, the bone morphogenic protein again decrease. Now it can be available in gel form, in putty form, or strip form. Now here is the one problem: we can get it ready-madely. We can get it in amorphous form. We can get it in shapes. All I I admit, but that cannot be properly replace the iliac crest graft or living graft, because I already told you the three property: osteogenesis, osteoinduction, osteoconduction. This demineralized bone matrix is very good for osteoconducting activity, but osteoinduction and osteogenesis, which is inbuilt plus point of the living graft, is new bone formation of cell bone graft and the bone morphogenic protein, which is not found in this type of cell. So it is a negative point. But nowadays it can be mixed up with the humanized or recombinant bone morphogenic protein. Among the old bone morphogenic protein, bone morphogenic protein 2 and 7 is highly active, and though it is very costly, but it will act as a very good alternative. Now 1 to 2 physiology for post graduation student. When we put a graft to a normal bone, how it heal? Actually, first it will do a hematoma, then it will release the cytokines and growth factor, then it can cause aseptic inflammation over there, which will develop fibroblastic tissue. Then the vascular ingrow in this structure, and it can extending of the Haversian canal. Now focal osteoclastic resorption of the graft will occur first, then intermembranous or enchondral bone formation over the graft will do the graft incorporation. And for cortical allograft start graft placed in the next to the cortex host, for total incorporation it will need 4 years, but this process is start as soon as this graft is given in that living bone. Now, last but not the least, uh, this graft can be factor based, can be cell based, can be ceramic based, can be polymer based, or composite, which I want to describe it. The demineralized bone matrix, which is lack of this bone morphogenic protein or cell, it can be mixed up by this composite, and it can be bone morphogenic protein factor or interleukin factor or cell based stem cell will incorporate, or ceramic or polymer. But ideal bone graft must have some scaffolding for osteoconduction and must supply the growth factor for osteoinduction and progenitor cell for osteogenesis, and biocompatible and biodegradable, and the will give mechanical property similar to the surrounding bone. Okay, and that will be the most biological, and each substitute will available nowadays and will fulfill all the criteria. One is example is the bone support is a company actually who this is a tricalcium phosphate bone cement. It acts like a bone cement, but it is actually a polymerized bone graft which is very enriched with this bone morphogenic protein, and we will push this in a huge bone defect, and it will give immediate structural stability as bone cement, but it will not going into do any hypothermic hyperthermic reaction. And after this in the long run it will incorporate, and the bony trabeculae will be normalized in this area as a normal bone. So it is a advantage, but cost and the technical portion is the drawback of this bone graft. Now one to two things about the tricalcium phosphate ceramic. It can use as a bone augmentation, and it can use in a injectable manner, like and the brand name is called Norian SRS. Norian SRS is type of special bone graft, and it actually demineralized bone matrix along with some bone growth factor. Now all are the varieties of this type of artificial bone graft, and the most common name used is G bone, which can found in small beads or long um, mm, uh, mm, pedals, and the main structural support is the calcium sulfate or tricalcium sulfate, which is very sensitive for new growing bone. And some of this bone graft can be also replaced by hydroxyapatite. And this hydroxyapatite has is very similar for the porosity of the normal spongy bones, and that is made from the coral that of the sea, and the coral of the sea has been processed in the lab, and it will acts as a scaffold of the bone, and that can be in used as a drug delivery system. Like we can put some zoledronic acid here, we can put some bone morphogenic protein, we can put some cell, and whatever you can do, and that tricalcium phosphate. And not only that, we can use collagen based matrix also, and it is highly purified, taking from the bovine dermal fibular collagen, and bone marrow is added with this, and it is also uh, used, and the brand name is Helios or Colagraft. So no need to mug up this name. You just know the basics. What are the things which is used for substitute of normal bone graft. But as per my experience or as per my knowledge, there is no alternative than this iliac case graft. You have to do proper counseling. That's all. Or if you need stuck graft, then no alternative of this vascularized fibular graft or muscle pedicle bone graft. We can do any magic. Suppose this is the defect after the operation. See, this defect is reconstructed by a vascular fibula and see this face. So it is a magic, you know. And I think I can cover all the information which is very important for bone graft. Thank you.